interdisciplinary, diverse in abilities, ages, nationalities, bringing passion and purpose to our conversations, collaborations in the arts and sciences, maths and psychology, humanities, sociology, engineering, public policy, collaborating for the public good. Working in unity, students and faculty, bus drivers, food servers and maintenance team, chaplains, librarians, and security. Our perspectives and nationalities strengthen us. Our abilities together, beautiful and robust. Teamwork for the public good. Wisdom cries aloud in the streets, and our ideas rise from our seats. Our research pools from the lake, outside of campus through the city gates. Our ideas create businesses, help hospitals, name festivals, innovating for the public good. University of York students, staff, and faculty, in this 60th year of our university, let us remember to relish the adventure of learning each day, to cherish each other's invaluable worth, to care for our inherited earth, sharing our learning throughout the world from our University of York for the public good.
Class of 2023 guests and colleagues, my name is Sharon Oakley, and on behalf of the University of York and the alumni community, I am delighted to welcome you to your conferment and celebration ceremony. I have a few announcements to make before we begin so that you can relax and enjoy the ceremony. Class of 2023, an easy job to start with. Please check that your seat number matches the number on your ticket, because you will be called to the stage in this order. If you discover that these do not match, our team of stewards can help you locate the correct seat. At the appropriate time, you will be invited by the stewards to stand and to make your way to the foot of the stairs, ready to head up the stairs and across the stage, all very straightforward. At the appropriate all very straightforward. That'll be the only mistake in the whole ceremony. There are two key things to note for a seamless ceremony. First, as soon as the person ahead of you begins to cross the stage, please make sure that you make your way up to the top of the stairs. Please don't wait until they have crossed the stage before you reach the top of the stairs. And second, when your name is announced, please walk to the center of the stage and either raise or doff your cap rather than shake hands with the Chancellor. And please do pause for a moment at the spot marked X in the center of the stage for that all-important photo opportunity. Your parchment certificate will be available for collection from the Student Hub from Monday the 24th until Monday the 31st of July. If your certificate is uncollected, we will post it to the home address we have on record. So please ensure your home address information on eVision is up to date. And your digital certificate will be made available to you through our digital portal, Grad Intelligence. For the students whose awards have been delayed by the marking and assessment boycott, we will let you know how to obtain your certificate when we communicate your final outcome. Everyone from the class of 2023 is welcome to have photographs taken by our official photographers in the photography studio in the Spring Lane building. And at the end of the ceremony, the class of 23 are asked to process out of the hall directed by the stewards. Family and friends, the stewards will show you to the exits once the class of 2023 have left the hall. If the fire alarm should sound at any point, please remain in your seats. Instructions will be given and we will escort you to the nearest exit. When students graduate, they become alumni of the University of York. As an alum, you will join an international community of over 160,000 York alumni in over 180 countries. The university's Alumni Association is a vibrant and global network which offers services and opportunities designed to help graduates make connections with other alumni around the world to support your career development and provide lifelong learning. York is for life, and we will be there with you every step of the way, particularly as you embark on this next chapter. You will shortly receive an email giving details of the ways in which you can remain supported, connected, and active in this community of one of the world's greatest universities. Do please follow our alumni social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and check out the alumni pages on the university website to keep in touch and learn about your life as a York graduate. As you get your first job or take up further study or training, please remember to keep us in touch with what you're doing. Understanding the career paths that you will take help us to provide the right information and support to current students and make sure that we offer you relevant opportunities, information, and some really fun events. And please remember to join us for your celebratory reception following the ceremony in the Exhibition Centre, where you will be able to celebrate your achievement with a complimentary glass of fizz and a selection of refreshments. Finally, can I now please ask that you mute your mobile phones, and if you are comfortably able, would you now please stand?
Please be seated. Welcome to you all, and welcome to this celebration ceremony at the University of York. To all friends and families and supporters of every kind, not only in the auditorium here today, but also watching this celebration online. Actually, I want to raise the energy in the room a little bit because we are here to celebrate. So what I'd like to do is I'd like you to all stand on your feet again, and I'd all like you to say thank you to your supporters who have been here throughout it. And thank you, and proud, I'd like the students to say, I am so proud of your achievements, because I am very proud of your achievements. So can we say that? I am so proud of your achievements. Have I said that wrong? I am really proud of my achievements. Okay. My name is Dr. Heather Melville, and I'm the Chancellor of the University, which is honorary and ceremonial office. I'd like to say a very special thank you to a gentleman that helped me on this journey, After, as this journey began some 5 years ago when I first met him. This ceremony is a formal moment, a moment in which we mark the collective and individual achievements of the class of 2023. It is also a moment of celebration and joyous informality. Let me tell you that I only became Chancellor in January of this year, so I feel we are all really in this together. I hope you are feeling just as excited as I am feeling proud. But I feel it's only right and proper to also acknowledge that many of you have had to face a series of disruptions over the course of your study, and that includes disruption over the past few weeks. I know that some of you will be feeling frustrated. We all deeply regret that, but I also hope that those affected will be able to stand back and reflect on their achievements, both within and outside the classroom and their wider time at York. I am so proud and honoured to share this milestone moment in your lives with all of you and your supporters. So this must be a celebration, a milestone of celebration. I want to hear great whoops and cheers of all of you as they cross the stage, some of them in some very high heels. Some of you may be a little nervous about coming on stage, but please don't worry, you won't trip, and if you trip, you won't fall. We did have someone yesterday that almost tripped in her very fancy sandals, but she didn't end up on the floor. I have to say, I'm new to this community, so I thought I'd give you a brief introduction about me and what really drives me. Up until recently, I had a long corporate career. I've been a senior director at PwC, 30-odd years plus in the corporate banking world, and most recently as a senior managing director at Teneo Global Consultancy. I've spent a lifetime advising business leaders, enabling them to achieve goals faster by earning trust, navigating disruption, and removing barriers, something which I know you've all had to do over the past few years. I'm passionate about helping businesses advance and develop their diversity and inclusion agenda to help them find the very best talent, some of which are in this room today, drawn from a whole range of backgrounds. In addition, I am chair of CMI Women, which is a Chartered Management Institute group that focuses predominantly on leadership and management. I'm also patron of Women in Banking and Finance, which again supports women in those sectors to achieve everything they are capable of, and this is something that I'm absolutely passionate about again. Throughout my career, I have spent enormous amounts of time supporting entrepreneurs. They are actually our future. And now, I have cast aside working career in large corporates, and I've become an entrepreneur myself at the ripe old age of 40 plus is all I'm going to say. I've set up my own consultancy, and I have to tell you that it's exciting whilst terrifying, but most of all, it's incredibly energizing. It's like being given an entirely new lease of life. I'm a Bob Dylan fan, and I've been reflecting on some of his very wise words, and I offer them to you as a guiding principle for your own career paths. You need something to open up a new door, to show you something you've seen before, but overlooked 100 times or more. And who am I to argue with Bob Dylan? I put it to you that you have the opportunity to use your experiences over the past few years to open new doors, reflect on what you've learnt about yourself, and identify what drives your own energy and passion. For me, I'm using a lifetime of experience to reshape what I do, who I do it with, and how I do it, but always with the aim of making a positive difference. And that includes my role here as Chancellor. I want everyone to feel a visceral sense of belonging the moment they cross our threshold. I want you to retain your affinity with us through your extensive alumni support programs long after you have left us to contribute to your own unique talents into making the world a better place. I'm so excited by working on behalf of an organisation with public good at its heart, one which draws on a rich tradition of social justice and combating inequality. I'm particularly inspired by the inclusive approach that York is taking in respect to encouraging and fostering inclusive entrepreneurship. The establishment of the university's enterprise works in the heart of the city is not an identikit model of supporting startups. Rather, Enterprise Works is identifying and nurturing entrepreneurial talent across all parts of our community to develop business opportunities and, crucially, to drive social change. I'm especially proud that Enterprise Works is collaborating intensively with our social enterprise community. Social enterprise is a vital sector spanning multi-million-pound organisations to tiny backstreet community groups, but they all aim to deliver social change. We need a new way of working by bringing major businesses, public sector, education providers and social enterprises together to deliver a more inclusive opportunity for everyone. But you all know that we also face profound wider challenges in relation to equality and diversity. We live in a world of polarisation, combative negative and in some cases openly racist narratives that seek to otherwise marginalise minority and vulnerable groups. Here in York, we are taking a very proactive and inspiring approach, inspired by you. First, we are working to understand the nature and the scale of the problem by listening. In our case, that has included extensive listening and engagement with existing networks, groups and individuals to understand people's experiences and expectations of the university. A great example of how we've approached this is our student-led Middle Ground initiative, which has helped normalise having difficult conversations and seeks to encourage everyone to consider other people's perspectives, as well as providing space where people can share their lived experiences related to different challenges. Second, we are aiming to transform and inspire people to understand how listening and learning can be transformed into actions and achievements. And finally, we have developed a programme of engagement and representation to offer platforms for a range of voices, celebrate achievements, and bring people together, like new events such as our Inclusive Impact Awards, which was launched last autumn, and was one of my first and joyous introductions to the York community. Over the next few days, some 5,000 students will celebrate with us here on this stage. As you take your next steps into your early careers or further study, I call upon you to remember and treasure the things that you have embraced and embodied here in York. The University of York has a strong tradition of engendering curiosity through the power of its teaching, its research and its wider public engagement. We want to support all our students to have the confidence to question and challenge the status quo, but to do so in a respectful, solution-orientated way, underpinned by an ethos of collaboration and positivity. We hope that the consideration, kindness, respect, and personal accountability that is the hallmark of our community will become your own personal kite mark. In the same way that you've all contributed to your student and local communities, I have every confidence that you will bring this keenly developed sense of social purpose and public good to your future lives and careers. Each of you has had different experiences during your programs of study. Every student has unique hopes, unique skills, and unique anxieties, and all of you have transformed those into unique and personal stories of achievement. Everyone has had a very different journey, but at York, we believe passionately that it's a journey that you won't walk alone in. I pay tribute to you, your achievements that we're celebrating here today, and have been enriched by your ability to adapt, to show resilience, and to look outside of yourself to support others too. You are joining a global community of some 160,000 York alumni. You have studied during a time of unprecedented global, and we know in the UK, higher education sector disruption. I pay tribute to you for your achievements that we're celebrating here today, that have been enriched by your ability to adapt, to show resilience, and to look outside of yourself, and to support others too. But my predecessor, Professor Sir Malcolm Grant, was famous for remarking, it is rare that anyone says, I wish the Chancellor had spoken for a little longer. So in that spirit, I think that all that remains is for me to say a huge thank you to you all, to the Vice-Chancellor and President, Professor Charlie Jeffrey, and his leadership team, who have welcomed me into the York community so readily and so warmly, to all of the staff that work tirelessly behind the scenes to make the university the success that it is, and to you, our students, and your families and supporters for sharing your incredible achievements with us today. As the saying goes, without you, we are nothing. Now more than ever, the world needs the brightest minds to come together to pool their knowledge, their compassion, and their problem-solving capabilities. Universities are beacons of hope because over centuries they have expanded the frontiers of knowledge, building on each generation's hard work and commitment in the pursuit of truth and justice through the enabling power of education. Everyone here today offers another layer of hope that we can work together to overcome challenges, prejudices, and injustice. I urge you to go out to the world with pride, with courage, and with the integrity to question untruths and inequality at every opportunity. Finally, just to say something about the family and friends who have been supporting you along your journey. Now we're going to do this right. Please stand and turn to your family and friends and applaud them for your support. I hereby declare this summer celebration ceremony open. Thank you.
Professor Caroline Descent will present the class of 2023 for the Department of Chemistry.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates who have pursued the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Biological Chemistry. For research in bromodomains as anti-leishmanial drug targets, Catherine Russell. For pursuing the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry, for research in computational studies of carbohydrates, Mihaela Atanasova. For research in understanding the role of silver salts in the pearl, Gayatri Ardhavan. For research in nitrogen incorporation into starbon materials, Ryan Barker. For research in biocatalysis of chiral amine synthesis, Megan Bennett. For research in developing an artificial metalloenzyme, Rosalind Booth. For research in shining light on mechanisms of manganese catalysis, Jonathan Eastwood. For research in combining experiment and DFT to study reactions, Ryan Epton. For research in new routes to alpha arylated N-Bok heterocycles, Matthew Gill. For research in A and B functionalization of cyclic sulfoxamines, Giordana Hartley. For research in chemical probes to study cell surface glycans, Catherine Huxley. For research in inorganic organometallic chemistry, Neda Jedi. For research in LPMOs, substrate-induced active site perturbations, Peter Lindley. For research in gold-3 complexes, synthesis and properties, Alice McCullen. For research in expanding the scope of successive ring expansions, Cleopas Palate. For research in catalytic promiscuity of unspecific peroxygenases, Balas Pograni. For research in an asymmetric approach towards 3-spiropyperidines, Sekuran Ravi. For research in using mass spectrometry to measure oceanic emissions, Yayan Roberts. For research in hyperpolarized photochemistry using benchtop NMR, Alistair Robinson. For research in dynamic conjugation of orthobromoimines, Nicholas Rose. For research in probing the Saber polarization transfer mechanism, Matthias Rossetto. For research in nanocomposites for delivering growth factors, Rajat Sharma. For research in use of green solvent, TMO, in organic synthesis, Benjamin Trouser. For research in towards an integrated microalgal biorefinery, Frederick Zitzman. For pursuing the degree of Master of Science by Research in Chemistry, Niall Donaldson. Caitlin Fulton. Lucy Hudson. Hannah Kempt. Aaron Vermilio. Caris Warnock. For pursuing the degree of Master of Chemistry in Chemistry, Zahara Anwar Bahati. Sachin Black. Ryan Brailsford. Joseph Bunyan. Sam Berry. Isabella Byrne. Ellen Carter. Amy Farmer. Kane Foster. Robert Haynes. William Heeman. Jack Heaton. Keziah Heaton. Reuben Jarvis. Jerome Joes. Ben Napper. Victoria Maguire. Madeleine Marnell. Ethan Pierce. Abby Robinson. Cyan Robinson. Joseph Smythe. Catherine Chiluzzi. For pursuing the degree of Master of Chemistry in Chemistry with a year abroad, Eleanor Ash. Luke Connell. Callum Dickey. Jack Fawcett Horton. Travis Graham. Joseph MacDonald. Ben Moynihan. Altutea Palmer Price. Harry Parr. George Roddy. Emily Ross. Again. Lucy Sylvie. Amy Stairs. Benjamin Stewart. Bianca Tacconi. Alexandra Webster Hurst. Lewis Wooding. For pursuing the degree of Master of Chemistry in Chemistry with a year in industry, Bethan Astley. Charlotte Bardsley. Joel Basford. Anna Beaumont. Adam Bruce. Hardy Birch. Nicole Burgess. Rebecca Charlton. Hannah Chaudhry. Henry Connell Cook. Jessica Crabb. Catherine Donnelly. Jade Edwards. Caitlin Forenbrook. Emmy Fenner. Emily Galliford. James Glasson. Timothy Gossel. Ben Horsfield. Imogen Howard.
Student musical ensemble E Anonyme will now perform What a Wonderful World, arranged by Peter Hicks.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people walking by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "I love you." I hear babies cry, and I watch them grow and much more, and I'll never know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah.
For pursuing the degree of Master of Chemistry in Chemistry with a year in Industry, Jaden J. Stefan Jensen. Simon Knopf. Thomas Lee. Tara Loosemore. Joseph Lozen. Aaron McCreaney. Eve Miller. Megan Miller. Toby Murrell. Floyd Ratcliffe. Gwendolyn Raworth. Hannah Ryder. Isabella Singlehurst Mooney. Charlotte Stanborough. Phoebe Stanyard. Abby Stock Duerder. Bradley Stockill. Tom Syme. Benjamin Taylor. Libby Ward. Gregory Yule. For pursuing the degree of Master of Chemistry in Chemistry with placement year, Andrew Burnham. For pursuing the degree of Master of Chemistry in Chemistry, Biological and Medicinal Chemistry, Claudia Clark. Owen Godwin. Benjamin Hartman. Matt Parkin. Emily Tyson. For pursuing the degree of Master of Chemistry in Chemistry, Biological and Medicinal Chemistry with a year abroad, Harry Lowe. For pursuing the degree of Master of Chemistry in Chemistry, Biological and Medicinal Chemistry with a year in Industry, Molly Carter. Nicole Keyworth. Noah Corbey. Faye Penlington. Saksham Vide. Emily Whitehouse. Serena Young. For pursuing the degree of Master of Chemistry in Chemistry, Green Principles and Sustainable Processes, Daniel Gorman. Megan Goss. Sean Keogh. For pursuing the degree of Master of Chemistry in Chemistry, Green Principles and Sustainable Processes with a year in Industry, Molly Clayton. Jack Harrison. Anastasia Murphy. For pursuing the degree of Master of Chemistry in Chemistry, the Atmosphere and the Environment, Dominic Duncan. For pursuing the degree of Master of Chemistry in Chemistry, the Atmosphere and the Environment with a year abroad, Thomas Pascal. For pursuing the degree of Master of Chemistry in Chemistry, the Atmosphere and the Environment with a year in Industry, Eve Grant. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, James Adam. Tegan Athersmith. Ben Orton. Sophie Ban. Emily Blackburn. Tara Box. Alfie Campbell. Adam Carr. Edward Cochrane. Oh, this is Chloe, is it? Yes. All right. Chloe Cotgreave. Lucas Dalton. Patrick Dossett. Lily Mae Duplock. Holly Earle. Elizabeth Fisher. Alexandra Fitzikova. Sing Yi Gun. Isabel Genway Hayden. Chloe Graham. Kinga Horenzu. Juliet Harper-Williams. Alexander Lebrun. Jessica Littlefield. Christopher Ludkin. Caitlin McGinn. Georgia Myron. Lawes Newlove. Luke Nicholson. Tegan Nicol. Megan Pond. Evangeline Race. Eddie Reed. Helena Rolfe. George Ross Roberts. Elizabeth Spencer Robinson. Eleanor Tulk. Max Tweedle. Bethany Waterhouse. Lewis Waters. Joni Weng Cheng. Jack West. Sarah Reiter. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Chemistry with a year abroad, Kay Bennett. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Chemistry with a year in industry, Lucy Baker. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, Biological and Medicinal Chemistry, Leigh Eade. Lucy Edwards. Alexa Evans. Eve Knowles. Maria Kuznetsova. Emma Mumford. Adam Williams. Yuki Wong. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, Green Principles and Sustainable Processes, Shannon McKee. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, the Atmosphere and the Environment, Kerndeep Dasi. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science, Alex Ayer.
Professor Martin Bees will now present the class of 2023 for the Department of Mathematics.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates who have pursued the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Mathematics. For research in probabilistic aspects of quantum field theory, Bradley Lang. For research in ABC conjectures and Diophantine approximation, Andrew Scoons. For research in state extension of quantum fields, Diego Vidal Cruz Prieto. For pursuing the degree of Master of Science by Research in Mathematics, Ardash Bera. For pursuing the degree of Master of Science in Mathematical Finance, Jiashang Hui. Vangelis Papas. Zi Wenxing.
Professor Duncan Bruce from the Department of Chemistry will now present our honorary graduate, Professor A.P. De Silva.
Chancellor, graduation ceremonies are perhaps the highlight of the academic year. And as part of the celebration, we take the opportunity to recognise and honour individuals whose achievements are of real note and whom we are glad to welcome to the York family. So it is today that I have professional, if I may say so, great personal pleasure in presenting for an honorary degree Professor Amilra Prasanna de Silva, or as everyone knows him, AP. Coming from a very ordinary family of rather modest means, with their encouragement and that of a school teacher, AP thrived in education and duly graduated with first-class honours in chemistry from the University of Colombo in Sri Lanka. He was then recruited to Queen's University Belfast, where he undertook a PhD and some postdoctoral work with James Grimshaw, before returning to Colombo to care for his paternal grandmother. She was in failing health, and AP wanted to return the favour to the woman who had been one of his carers during his childhood, and also to follow the example of caring he learnt from his mother. For a talented young scientist with a bright future, this was a very significant commitment, yet already it gives an insight into the man. His return to Sri Lanka, during which term he also held a post at the University of Colombo, lasted 6 years, during which time he witnessed a bloody civil war break out. When his grandmother passed away in 1986, he was persuaded back to Belfast by his mentor, the late Ron Grigg, swapping civil war at home for the troubles in Northern Ireland. But like all of us who have visited Belfast, he knew the warmth of the people who lived there, and he was glad of the opportunity to rekindle old friendships. The independent research that AP developed at Queen's was in the area of fluorescent sensors, a very sensitive method in which a reporter molecule emits light as a result of a particular stimulus. With his research group, he pursued this from the angle of the academic, interested in the effect and how it may be understood and harnessed, and as the curious researcher who realized that his chemistry could be used to mimic the behavior of logic gates. Then later, and with the wider good in mind, he brought these different aspects of his chemistry together to integrate rapid and sensitive fluorescence tests that his group had developed for sodium, potassium, and calcium into existing sensors for carbon dioxide and pH in blood. The resulting inexpensive devices, and I think he's going to show you one later, were commercialized and have been sold around the world for both human and veterinary use. And it was a moment of immense pride for AP when he learned that they were being used in ambulances in his home country of Sri Lanka. Allow me to paraphrase some of AP's own words. Imagine the scene where a victim of a suicide bombing is lying in the road fighting for life. A paramedic stabilizes the victim and a sample of blood is drawn and analyzed within 30 seconds using one of AP's sensors. The gas and electrolyte levels in the victim's blood are telephoned ahead to the hospital so that a blood bag can be prepared to match the salt levels of the victim before the ambulance fights through the Colombo traffic to the A&E ward. This precaution prevents salt shock occurring during transfusion and so saved the lives of countless people who may otherwise have died on the operating table despite the surgical team following the procedures assiduously. In other words, some of those Colombo residents, as he was, are now alive thanks to one of those sensors. How must it feel to know that something that you and your group have done through the power of your imagination and your creativity has saved the lives of people with whom you grew up? AP's work has been recognised by election as a member of the Royal Irish Academy and by other awards in both Ireland and beyond. In 1997, he published a review of work in fluorescent sensors in the top-ranked journal Chemical Reviews, which has been referenced more than 6,500 times, one of the top 20 reviews ever published in the journal in its 123-year history. And 25 years on, it still gets 2 citations every week. Further, his publication on molecular logic gates in the journal Nature garnered more than 1,000 citations. There's not an academic in the room that would not love to have that kind of statistic on their CV. They're all nodding, they know. However great these achievements, there's so much more to learn about AP. I first met him as a young lecturer, just a few years ago, and like everyone who has heard him describe his work, was transfixed and fascinated, not only by what he had to say, but the way he was able to communicate it. As you'll hear, he's an inspirational and most engaging speaker with an enthusiasm for what he does that is truly infectious. I've also had the pleasure to work with him when we shared an outreach lecturing stage, when we examined a PhD thesis together. These occasions confirm what I have long known. AP is a caring mentor of and inspiration to young scientists with a thoughtful, deeply humanistic approach to both science and to life. Probably one of the nicest guys in the business. And multi-talented, he brought his passion for music from his home country to Belfast, joining a traditional Irish band as a percussionist and incorporating some of the Sri Lankan drumming techniques he learned as a child into the Irish traditions of music. And you knew when he'd been performing because he was a little bit later into the department the next day. Chancellor, the founding academics of this university saw its mission to do work for the public good. Through his academic leadership, his careful mentoring of more junior scientists, his ability and willingness to communicate his work widely, and for research that has palpably saved lives, AP fits that bill perfectly. For showing the power of chemistry for the public good, I have the very great honour to present Professor Amilra Prasanna, AP de Silva, for the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.
power invested to me by the University of York, I have great pleasure in conferring upon you the degree of Doctor of the University honoris causa. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Chancellor, it's a great honor that you've given me from this great and youthful university. And I say that as an old guy. And I'm also very grateful to Duncan and the lovely chemistry department for allowing me to participate in this great day today. And I have to say a special thanks to all of you in the center here. Thanks for allowing me to gate crash what is really your big day. So congratulations to you all, first of all. And I must also remember that you went through a COVID crisis and you're here smiling today, so congratulations again. And so, all I can do as an old person is to tell you a couple of quick stories in the little time I have, and hope it gives you a spring in your step as you go out into the world, and as all the people who love you cheer you on. The first thing I must say, of course, is that I happen to be a chemist, but I'm not leaving out the mathematicians, no. Because once upon a time, I did a degree as well, and in chemistry as the main subject, but I did pursue mathematics, pure and applied mathematics as well, for as long as they would allow me. And I'm very grateful for the experience I had because, and I thought I'll especially mention this here, because York is a university which is renowned for diversity of all kinds, and congratulations to you all in what you pursue. But I also wanted to point out to you the diversity of subjects, the diversity of learning that a university can do. After all, the university contains the universe in the sound of its name. And so I was very grateful as an individual who loves his chemistry for sure, but I also do love mathematics. And I'm very grateful for it because I was introduced to the principles of computer science through pure mathematics. And I remain very grateful, and as Duncan very graciously mentioned, in the little research I was able to do, I was able to combine bits of chemistry and ideas of computer science. And that's one of the little stories I would like to tell you. In the sense that, you know, all of you know, that if you give a chemist half a chance, they will tell you about molecules. Those things which are too small nearly to see, but which still have a great influence on you. There are many things which are invisible, which have influences on us, like ghosts. And so because of that, I would ask you to spare a moment to think of a molecule. Molecules are what you are. And if you're scared of those ghosts, don't look in a mirror, because that's what you are. All of us are basically plastic bags full of molecules. And these molecules are magic, because they are the ones that keep you looking as beautiful as you are, especially on a day like today when you're in your finery here. Remember, please, all of you, especially those who are not chemists, it's because of those molecules that you are worth it, according to L'Oreal and other people. And the reason why these molecules are magical is they perform information processing inside of all of us. So when you think you are looking lovely, it's because the molecules are furiously processing information. And as long as they do that efficiently, you are fine. And the day they stop doing it for me, I'll be dead. So spare a thought for molecules as you go on your happy way, and as you look forward to celebrate what you have achieved in this really tricky period of time. But before you go, I want to leave you with another small story. And it is, as Duncan graciously pointed out, I studied in Sri Lanka, and then I was privileged to work in a time of a civil war. And then in Belfast, of course, they were not second to Sri Lanka by any means. And so violence was no stranger again. And it is in that kind of climate, and it's in that kind of environment that people like me were able to pursue something that this university considers so highly, the public good. And here's a piece of plastic to show you that. And I thought I'll bring this and show you it, and Duncan sort of expressed it so well for you. This has saved lives. And it saved lives because I had that little chance under a coconut tree, and then in Belfast, equally emerald, to pursue a little bit of science and a little bit of mathematics. And therefore, I would like to remind especially the class now, if a oldie, moldy, baldy, that's what I am under this, can achieve a few little things for the public good and save a few lives and make a few people smile, then how much more will you be able to do, having had the grounding of the public good as part of the university vision here? And then to work in a time of relative peace. Okay, we had our COVID bubbles, but once you come through that and you having the dynamism of youth, you'll be able to go and take over the world. And God knows, our messed up world needs you now. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Mathematics is, of course, the underlying language of science, and we should all find a space in our heart for it. Okay. Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for pursuing the degree of Master of Mathematics in Mathematics, Ted Binns. Mallory Bush. Joanne Coffey. Emma Colchin. Irene Garcia Munoz. Ben Graham. Daniel Hill. Connor Holness. Elizabeth Summer James. Catherine Lanigan. Thomas Laws. Emma Lobley. Ryan Marshall. Bryony Morn. William Pottage. Luke Smith. Adam Stone. Abby Sykes. Karen Tepper. How you she. Shoot. For pursuing the degree of Master of Mathematics in Mathematics and Computer Science, Stephen Da Prato Shepherd. Jessica Russell. For pursuing the degree of Master of Mathematics in Mathematics and Computer Science with a year in industry, Morgan McKay. For pursuing the degree of Master of Mathematics in Mathematics and Physics, Alexander Goldthorpe. Harry Hellerman. Simon Jessup. For pursuing the degree of Master of Physics in Mathematics and Physics, Eva Mickelwright. For pursuing the degree of Postgraduate Diploma in Mathematical Finance, Andrew Ejamai. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Mathematics, Kyriakos Antonio. So Ong. Guy Hagan. Xinyu Han. Sarah Pierce. Tuba Yamak. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Mathematics with a year in industry, Matthew Cooper. Sam Fantuccio. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Economics and Mathematics, Isha Akaria. Patrick Atkinson. Isabel Burkitt. Matthew Shana Kathigamu Sarthatham. William Moody. Tapu Musupele, sorry. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Economics and Mathematics with placement year, Daniel Perez. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Finance, Operations Research, Management and Statistics, Emma Byrne. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, Joshua Allmark. Lucy Barker. Becca Barron. Mohammed Muzuddin bin Ismail. Adam Booth. Joshua Bergin. Bryony Christie. Lydia Cunningham. Ewan Cattell. Flavia Neves. Ewan Haas. Karen Haig. William Hamill. Samuel Hewitt. Melissa Hickson. Natasha Hughes. James Cooley. Eamon Lewis. Zhangyu Liu. Zinli Lin. Charlotte Manning. Florence Park. Joshua Pestle. Samuel Pritchard. Sana Rashid. Joel Rodriguez Castro. Chloe Seth. Yu Shi. Esther Snape. JJ Stone. Ben Stones. John Strassenberg. Joel Sturgis. Natalie Sugden. Lewis Tadman. Emma Taylor. Jack Templeton. Raphael Theodoulou. Emily Unsworth. Jamie Wenham. Dominic Williams. Isabel Woodbury. Zintor Shiu. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics with a year in Europe, Gabriel Baines. Emma Kenny. Amelia Newport. Alistair Niven. Anya Utting. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics with placement year, Joshua Henry. Elizabeth Neal. Alexander Nisbet. Amy Springett. John Webster. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Finance, Lewis Collis. Kimberly Crease. Robin Salvert. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Philosophy, Theodore Thorbjørnsen. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Physics, Chloe Cullen. Jack Hansen. Peter McMullen. Imogen Whitehead. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Statistics, Hsiao Yun Kung. Ray Wong. Kieran Young. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, Arazish Austin. Benjamin Durkin. Finley Penwill.
It is my enormous pleasure to now introduce Sana Rashid, our student orator who will speak on behalf of the class of 2023. Our student orators have been invited to speak in recognition of their hard work on behalf of the student community and their commitment to their studies. Our speakers have both pursued the most enriching experience they could during their time at York, as well as giving back to their community. On behalf of the class of 2023, I give you Sana Rashid.
Dear fellow graduates, congratulations on being here today. My name is Sana Rashid and I'm a graduating student of the Department of Mathematics. While we are united in our caps and gowns, behind each one of us lies an untold story of sacrifice. For many of us, this story began with our parents, those who nurtured our talents and fed our ambitions. For some of us, this story began with our grandparents, those who left their homes, families, and culture to give us opportunities they never had. And for a lot of us, this story began with brave people who resembled ourselves, those who fought for the right to education so that individuals from all walks of life could be seated in this hall. Today, we stand as proof that their sacrifices have not been in vain and that each one shaped our story. While we celebrate our accomplishments, some of us also carry the weight of those who are no longer here. And as we walked along the stage, it was a bittersweet moment of wishing they could see. While they may not be physically present, their influence on us is very much alive today. So let us honour their life in our words, their dreams in our futures, and their sacrifice in our success. But what truly defines us is the sacrifices we made ourselves. From late nights in the library to missing special occasions, each choice moulded us into the people we are today. Many graduates had to trade their party outfits for an apron and a badge, balancing student jobs with a social life. Some graduates had to leave behind the warmth of their families and the familiarity of their cultures to pursue an education. Other graduates had to constantly prove themselves by growing up in areas where opportunities were scarce and high aspirations were mocked. These stories build the bridges of change for those in the future. They show that our circumstances do not have to define our goals. But what united us as a class is that all graduates experienced the isolation and the uncertainty that the pandemic brought. The sum of lectures watched and seminars attended cannot begin to signify the value of the lessons we have learnt. Together, we have embraced new challenges, discovered hidden passions, and made lifelong friendships. Together, we have harnessed the power of unity and the resilience of the individual. Our success is not confined to a certificate, but instead defined by our perseverance through challenging times and the well-rounded graduates we have grown into. Our class has truly been tested time and time again, and still, each time we've continued to bring light into a world that feels dark. This is our greatest achievement. When my grandparents moved here, uncertain of the challenges ahead, they could only dare to dream that their granddaughter would be standing on this stage today, thanking them for their sacrifice. Thank you.
Well, I told you we would all feel proud, didn't I? And I certainly sat there with pride in my eyes and in my heart for the sacrifices that many of you had to go through. So 3 years ago we had the pandemic and we never thought we would ever see this day. To the parents and supporters who thought, how on earth am I going to help my children through this difficult period? And actually help them through the most difficult period when it first happened and not being able to see them, for those of you that came here first of all. So I think we have a lot to be grateful and a lot to celebrate today. So I am going to ask you to please stand, those of you that can. And please turn to your loved ones, we're going to get this right this time, and say a huge thank you to them. And for the parents and the supporters and the family members and friends who had to sit there so elegantly in their chairs while they clapped gently as their loved ones came across the stage, here's your opportunity to say how proud you are of them. The roof off. But what I want you to do is remember that sound when you go into the big wild world, whether it's future study or the world of work and leadership. Remember that sound when you go out and you have that day where you doubt yourself of how proud everybody felt of you. So without further ado, all that's left for me is to say thank you all very much for coming. Thank you all very much for choosing York to study and to enjoy the celebrations. I therefore call this congregation now closed. Thank you.